Admiral Jake Morrison stood in the command center of Luna Station, staring at the massive wall of screens that showed the space around Earth. The images made his stomach turn cold. 3 enormous alien fleets were moving toward Earth from different directions, like wolves closing in on a wounded deer. "Admiral, the numbers are confirmed," said Commander Lisa Hayes, walking up beside him. Her voice was steady, but Jake could see the worry in her eyes. "The Zephyrian Empire has brought 400 warships. The Korath Dominion has 500 bioships. The Vex Collective has 300 reality warpers." Jake nodded slowly. 1,200 alien ships, all coming to destroy Earth. Each alien race was powerful enough to wipe out human civilization on their own. Together, they should be unstoppable. "How long do we have?" he asked. 68 hours until the first ships reach Earth's orbit," Lisa replied. "All 3 fleets will arrive within 12 hours of each other." On the screens, the alien ships moved with frightening confidence. They flew in loose formations, not worried about human defenses. Why should they be? For 50 years, the galaxy had watched humanity struggle to build basic space stations and slow cargo ships. The aliens saw humans as primitive creatures who had barely learned to leave their home planet. Jake's communication device buzzed. President Richard Carter's face appeared on the screen, looking tired but determined. "Admiral Morrison, I've just finished meeting with the United Nations Emergency Council," the president said. The alien message was clear. "We have 72 hours to surrender completely, or they will destroy every human on Earth." "What did the council decide, sir?" Jake asked. "They want to surrender," Carter replied. "They think fighting is suicide. 1,200 alien warships against our small fleet of 30 ships? They say we have no chance." Jake looked at the screens again. The alien fleets were getting closer every minute. The Zephyrian ships glowed with energy weapons that could turn entire cities into glass. The Korath bioships looked like giant insects, covered in living armor that could heal itself. The Vex ships seemed to flicker in and out of reality, using technology that could phase through normal matter. "Admiral, there's something else," Lisa said quietly. "Our deep space station picked up alien communications. They're not just planning to conquer us. They want to study us first, then use us as slaves before killing us all." Jake's hands clenched into fists. For decades, the 3 alien races had been enemies, fighting each other across the galaxy. Now they had put aside their hatred to focus on humanity. Earth was seen as such an easy target that ancient enemies had become allies just to share in the victory. "Captain Alex Rodriguez is reporting from Outpost 7, Lisa continued. "The first alien scouts are entering our solar system. They're moving slowly, scanning everything. They don't expect any real fight." Jake thought about all the years of preparation, all the secrets, all the hidden projects that even most humans didn't know about. The aliens had studied humanity's official military records and seen exactly what humans wanted them to see. "Sir, what are your orders?" Lisa asked. Jake looked at the president's image on the screen. "Mr. President, respectfully, the UN Council doesn't know everything about our defenses." "What do you mean?" Carter asked. "I mean that for 50 years, we've been preparing for this exact situation. The aliens think they know what we're capable of. They're wrong." On the screens, more alien ships appeared. The Zephyrian fleet stretched across space like a golden river of death. The Korath swarm moved like a living cloud of destruction. The Vex ships danced between dimensions, confident in their advanced technology. "Admiral, even if we have some hidden weapons, we're still facing 1,200 ships," the president said. "How can we possibly win?" Jake smiled for the first time in days. "Mr. President, the aliens have studied our official capabilities. They know about our regular warships, our basic weapons, are simple defenses. But they don't know about the things we've kept secret. What things? The things we've been building since we first realized we weren't alone in the galaxy. The weapons we've hidden. The defenses we've disguised. The preparations we've made for the day when someone would try to wipe us out. Lisa's eyes widened. She was starting to understand. The deep projects, the black sites, the classified research stations. Exactly, Jake said. The aliens think they're attacking a primitive species that's barely learned to fly between planets. They have no idea they're about to attack a species that's been preparing for galactic war for 50 years. The alien fleets continued their approach, their commanders probably celebrating their easy victory already. They had made the same mistake that many enemies had made throughout human history. They had underestimated their prey. Admiral, the enemy scouts are passing Jupiter, Lisa reported. They're sending signals back to their fleets. All clear. No resistance detected. Jake walked to the main communication console. His fingers hovered over the activation switch for Protocol Omega. Once he pressed it, there would be no turning. Back, the secret defenses of Earth would be revealed, and the galaxy would learn what humans really were. Mr. President, I need your authorization for Operation Fortress, Jake said. Carter was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded. You have it, Admiral. Show them what humans can do. Jake pressed the switch. Across the solar system, warning signals began flashing in secret bases on Mars, hidden stations in the asteroid belt, and disguised weapons platforms orbiting every planet. All stations, this is Admiral Morrison, he spoke into his communicator. Operation Fortress is now active. Let's show these aliens what humans do when cornered. The trap was set. The aliens were coming, confident in their superiority. They thought they were hunting helpless prey. Soon, they would learn the most important lesson about humanity. Cornered humans don't surrender. They fight back with everything they have. Humanity had been preparing for this fight for a very long time. The alien fleets moved through space like 3 rivers of death, each one confident they were about to win an easy victory. Fleet Commander Vortok of the Zephyrian Empire stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the primitive human solar system grow larger on his screens. Report, he commanded his weapons officer. Sir, we've detected some human mining stations in the asteroid belt, but they're powering down and evacuating. A few communications satellites around the outer planets, but they're just broadcasting. Surrender messages. Vortok nodded. This was exactly what their intelligence had predicted. The humans were running away, fleeing deeper into their system like scared animals. Their pathetic fleet of 30 ships was nowhere to be seen. What about their defenses? He asked. Nothing significant, sir. Some orbital platforms around their moon, but they appear to be research stations. A few military installations on Mars. But they're just basic training facilities, according to our scans. Perfect. The humans were even weaker than expected. Meanwhile, on Mars, Colonel Danny Wright was smiling as he watched the alien fleet's approach. He stood in the command center of Installation Crimson, buried 3 miles beneath the red planet's surface. Above him, the Martian landscape looked empty except for a few scientific research domes and mining equipment. Colonel, the aliens are buying it completely, reported his communications officer. Their scans show exactly what we want them to. See, research stations, mining gear, basic life support systems. Danny nodded. For 40 years, Installation Crimson had been disguised as a geological survey station. The aliens' intelligence files listed Mars as a barely colonized world, with maybe 50,000 humans doing scientific research. They had no idea that Mars was actually a fortress world with 2 million people living in underground cities. Are the quantum torpedo launchers ready? Danny asked. All 50 launch sites are armed and ready, sir. The aliens won't detect them until we fire. Their sensors can't penetrate our quantum shielding. Danny watched the enemy fleets on his screens. The Zephyrian ships were beautiful in a deadly way, their golden hulls glowing with energy weapons. The Korath bioships looked like flying nightmares, covered in living armor that could heal itself. The Vex ships flickered in and out of normal space, using technology that bent reality itself. All three alien races had made the same mistake. They had studied humanity's official military records and believed what they saw. They thought humans were a young, primitive species that had barely learned to travel between planets. In her bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Amy Foster was monitoring the alien approach from the Terran Defense Research Division. She had spent her entire career preparing for this moment. Around her, hundreds of scientists and military officers worked at control stations, coordinating Earth's real defenses. "The aliens are following their predicted approach routes," reported her assistant. "They're staying in formation, not worried about ambush." Amy smiled grimly. The aliens had spent decades studying human military history, but they had focused on the wrong things. They had studied human wars against other humans, where both sides used similar weapons and tactics. They had never considered what humans would do when facing a completely different kind of enemy. "Activate the Jupiter Defense Network," Amy ordered. "It's time to show them what human creativity can accomplish." Near Jupiter, Lieutenant Commander Ben Carter led a squadron of 12 fighters that officially didn't exist. According to military records, his unit was training pilots for atmospheric combat on Earth. The reality was very different. "Phoenix Squadron, this is Phoenix Leader," Ben said into his radio. "Enemy scouts are approaching our position. Remember, they can't see us until we want them to." Ben's fighter looked like a standard human atmospheric craft, but it was equipped with experimental cloaking technology that had been developed from alien technology recovered from a crashed scout ship 20 years ago. The aliens had never reported the crash, so they didn't know humans had their cloaking systems. "Phoenix Leader, we're reading massive bioship formations heading our way," reported his wingman. "The Korath are really confident. They're not even scanning for threats." Ben watched the enemy approach. The Korath swarm Lord Haxamore was leading his bioships in a loose formation, obviously expecting no resistance. The living ships pulsed. With organic energy, their hulls covered in armor that could adapt to any weapon. Or so they thought. "Phoenix Squadron, prepare to engage," Ben ordered. "Target their command ships first. Let's show them what a surprise attack looks like." The alien fleets continued their advance, passing the orbit of Jupiter without detecting any human presence. Their commanders were probably already planning how to divide up Earth's resources. The Zephyrians wanted the planet's energy sources. The Korath wanted to harvest human genetic material. The Vex wanted to study human consciousness. None of them expected what was about to happen. In the asteroid belt, Captain Alex Rodriguez was making final preparations at Outpost 7. The space station looked like a simple monitoring post. Exactly. As it was supposed to. But Outpost 7 was actually a mobile weapons platform equipped with humanity's most advanced experimental weapons. "Captain, the enemy scouts are entering the belt," reported his weapons officer. "They're scanning the larger asteroids, but they're not detecting our hidden installations." Alex nodded. Every major asteroid in the belt had been hollowed out and converted into a weapons platform. The alien sensors showed only rock and ice, exactly as planned. They had no idea that each asteroid contained gravitational mines, quantum disruptors, and automated defense systems. "Prepare the antimatter cannon," Alex ordered. "We get one shot before they realize what's happening." The antimatter cannon was humanity's newest weapon, powered by a miniaturized black hole generator. It had taken 15 years to build and had never been tested in combat. The aliens had no idea such a weapon existed. "All stations report ready." "Sir," his officer said, "the trap is set." Alex looked at the alien fleets on his screens. 1,200 ships, all coming to destroy humanity. Their commanders were so confident that they weren't even maintaining proper defensive formations. They thought they were facing a primitive species that posed no real threat. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The Vex Collective ships began to phase through normal space, preparing to bypass the asteroid belt entirely. Their technology allowed them to exist in multiple dimensions at once, making them nearly impossible to hit with conventional weapons. But humans hadn't developed conventional weapons for this fight. "Captain Admiral Morrison is giving the final countdown," the communications officer reported. "All stations are ready." Alex gripped the arms of his command chair. In a few minutes, the galaxy would learn the truth about humanity. They weren't the weak, primitive species that everyone thought they were. They were predators who had been waiting for worthy prey. "All stations, this is Admiral Morrison," the voice came through the speakers. "Operation Fortress is now active. Let's show these aliens what humans do when cornered." The moment of truth had arrived. The aliens were about to discover that they hadn't come to conquer a helpless species. They had walked into a trap that had been 50 years in the making, and humanity was ready to spring it. The first shot of the war came from Lieutenant Commander Ben Carter's fighter squadron. 12 human ships suddenly appeared behind the Korath biofleet, their cloaking systems shutting off as they opened fire. "Phoenix Squadron, weapons free," Ben shouted into his radio. "Hit their command ships now." The experimental plasma cannons tore through the Korath bioships like fire through paper. The living armor that was supposed to be impenetrable began to melt and burn. Swarm Lord Haxmore's flagship shuddered as plasma bolts punched through its hull. "Impossible!" Haxmore screamed. "Where did these ships come from?" "Our sensors detected." Nothing. But there was no time to think. More human fighters were appearing from all directions, attacking the bioships with weapons that shouldn't exist. The Korath had studied human technology for decades. These weapons were far beyond anything humans were supposed to have. "My lord, we're taking heavy damage," his weapons officer reported. "Their weapons are designed specifically to burn through our bio-armor." Haxmore realized the horrible truth. The humans hadn't just hidden their ships. They had studied Korath technology and built weapons specifically designed to kill bioships. This wasn't a primitive species caught off guard. This was a trap. At the same moment, Colonel Danny Wright was giving the order to fire from Mars. "All quantum torpedo launchers, target the Zephyrian fleet. Fire at will." 50 hidden launch sites across Mars opened fire simultaneously. The quantum torpedoes phased through normal space, invisible to alien sensors, until they materialized inside the Zephyrian ships. Fleet Commander Vortek watched in horror as his flagship's bridge exploded. Around him, the energy shields that were supposed to protect his fleet were useless. The human weapons were appearing inside his ships, bypassing all defenses. "Report!" he shouted through the smoke and flames. "Sir, we've lost 15 ships in the first salvo." His tactical officer screamed. "Their weapons are phasing through our shields. We can't stop them." Vortak's mind raced. The humans were using quantum technology that shouldn't exist. According to their intelligence files, humans had barely mastered basic energy weapons. These quantum torpedoes were at least a century ahead of anything humans were supposed to have. "Return fire. Destroy that planet," he ordered. But as his ships turned their weapons toward Mars, something even more shocking happened. The planet's surface began to open like a flower, revealing massive defense platforms that had been hidden beneath fake geological formations. "Sir, Mars isn't a research colony," his sensor officer reported. "It's a fortress world. We're detecting millions of humans and hundreds of defense installations. The Vex Collective was having their own problems. Their ships were trying to phase through the asteroid belt when something went wrong. Instead of passing through normal space, they found themselves trapped between dimensions. "What is happening?" demanded Vex Prime Consciousness Zillinef. "We should be able to phase through these primitive rocks." "Prime Consciousness, the asteroids are not normal," reported a subordinate. "They contain gravitational mines that are creating space-time distortions. We're being pulled back into normal space." As the Vex ships were forced back into reality, they found themselves surrounded by asteroids that suddenly came alive with weapons fire. Every rock in the belt was actually a disguised weapons platform, and they were all targeting the trapped. Vex ships. Captain Alex Rodriguez smiled as he watched the alien fleets realize they were in trouble. "Fire the antimatter cannon," he ordered. The massive weapon powered up, drawing energy from its miniaturized black hole generator. The beam that emerged was pure destruction, carving through the Zephyrian flagship formations like a sword through cloth. "Direct hit on the Zephyrian command ship," his weapons officer reported. "Their flagship is breaking apart." But the real surprise was yet to come. On Earth's moon, massive doors began to open across the lunar surface. What the aliens had thought was a natural satellite was actually humanity's greatest weapon. Dr. Amy Foster watched from her bunker as Luna Base revealed its true nature. "Activate the railgun network," she commanded. The moon's surface split open in dozens of places, revealing enormous railguns that could fire projectiles at near-light speed. The weapons had been built over 40 years, hidden beneath fake research stations and mining facilities. "All railguns target the enemy command ships," Amy ordered. The projectiles that emerged from the moon moved so fast they were invisible until they hit. Zephyrian ships began exploding as tungsten rods traveling at incredible speeds punched through their hulls. The aliens' energy shields were designed to stop energy weapons, not physical projectiles moving at relativistic speeds. Fleet Commander Vortek watched his fleet being torn apart by weapons that shouldn't exist. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "Our intelligence said they were primitive." "Sir, we're receiving emergency signals from all fleet commanders," his communications officer reported. "The Korath are under attack by cloaked fighters. The Vex are trapped in gravitational mines. We're taking massive losses." Vortek realized they had been completely deceived. The humans hadn't been caught off guard. They had been waiting for this attack, preparing for it, building weapons specifically designed to kill alien ships. "Send a message to the other fleets," he ordered. "This is not the weak species we expected. We need to retreat and regroup." But it was too late. The human trap was closing from all sides. The Korath bioships were burning as human fighters attacked them with weapons designed to counter their living armor. The Vex ships were being destroyed by asteroids that turned out to be weapons platforms. The Zephyrian fleet was being hammered by quantum torpedoes and railgun fire. "Admiral Morrison, the enemy fleets are trying to retreat," reported Commander Lisa Hayes from Luna Station. "Don't let them," Jake replied. "Activate the solar array." Across the solar system, hidden collectors began to focus the sun's energy into a coherent beam. The weapon that emerged was like a miniature star, aimed directly at the regrouping alien fleets. "Sir, they're powering up some kind of solar weapon," screamed the Zephyrian tactical officer. "Energy levels are off the charts." Vortek stared. At the readings, the humans had weaponized their own star. They had turned the sun itself into a weapon. "What kind of species does that?" "All ships, emergency retreat," he ordered. "Get us out of this system now." But the human attacks continued. Captain Rodriguez's antimatter cannon was carving through ship after ship. The lunar railguns were picking off fleeing vessels. The quantum torpedoes from Mars were appearing inside alien hulls without warning. Swarm. Lord Haxamor's bioship was dying around him, its living systems failing as human plasma weapons burned through its organs. How did they know? He gasped. How did they know exactly how to kill us? The answer was simple, though the aliens were only beginning to understand it. Humans had been preparing for this war for 50 years. They had captured alien technology, studied alien weaknesses, and built weapons, specifically designed to kill each type of alien ship. The galaxy had thought it was attacking a primitive species. Instead, it had attacked a species that had spent half a century preparing for galactic war. The aliens had walked into a trap that had been decades in the making, and now they were paying the price for underestimating humanity. The three most powerful fleets in the galaxy were being destroyed by a species they had thought was helpless. The trap had been sprung, and there was no escape. The war had begun, and humanity was winning. The alien fleets retreated beyond Neptune's orbit, their commanders in shock. They had lost nearly half their ships in the first engagement. The three most powerful civilizations in the galaxy were being beaten by a species they had thought was primitive. Fleet Commander Vorgak's flagship was badly damaged, his bridge half destroyed by human weapons. He stared at the tactical display, showing the remains of his once mighty fleet. "How many ships have we lost?" He asked. "Sir, we've lost 160 ships. The Korath have lost 200. The Vex have lost 120. His tactical officer reported. "Nearly 500 ships in total, sir." Vortak couldn't believe it. In one battle, the humans had destroyed almost half of the combined alien fleet. These weren't supposed to be warriors. They were supposed to be weak, frightened creatures who would surrender at the first sign of real power. "Get me the other fleet commanders," he ordered. "We need to understand what went wrong." The holographic images of Swarm Lord Haxamor and Haw. Vex Prime Consciousness Zillaneth appeared on his bridge. Both alien leaders looked shaken and confused. "This is impossible," Haxamor said, his bioship's wounds still healing around him. "Their weapons were designed specifically to kill our ships. They knew exactly how to counter our bio-armor. The gravitational mines were set perfectly to trap our phase-shifting technology," Zillaneth added. "They understood our dimensional abilities better than we thought possible." Vordik nodded grimly. "Our intelligence was completely wrong. The humans weren't caught off guard. They were waiting for us." On Earth, President Richard Carter was addressing the world from the White House. But this wasn't a speech about surrender. This was a declaration of war. "My fellow humans," he began, his voice strong and clear. "For too long, we have been seen as the young, weak species in this galaxy. Today, we remind the universe that humans wrote the book on warfare before we ever left our own planet." Around the world, people watched as their president continued. "The alien fleets that came to destroy us have learned a harsh lesson. We are not victims. We are not weak. We are the species that survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. We are the species that turned our entire planet into a fortress without our enemies even knowing it." Admiral Jake Morrison was coordinating the next phase of the defense from Luna Station. The alien fleets were regrouping, but they were still within range of Earth's weapons. "Admiral, the USS Defiance is requesting permission to launch," reported Commander Lisa Hayes. Jake nodded. "Tell Captain Murphy he's cleared for launch. It's time to show the aliens what our real fleet can do." The USS Defiance emerged from its hidden base inside a hollowed-out asteroid, followed by 49 other warships. These vessels had been officially decommissioned for 20 years, but they had actually been upgraded with technology, reverse-engineered from captured alien ships. Captain Steve Murphy stood on the bridge of the Defiance, watching the alien fleets on his screens. His ship looked like an old human design, but it was equipped with Zephyrian energy weapons, Korath bioarmor, and Vex phase-shifting technology. "All ships, this is Captain Murphy," he said into his communicator. "We're going to show these aliens what happens when humans get their hands on advanced technology." The human fleet moved toward the alien formations, and the aliens prepared for another easy victory. Their sensors showed the same primitive human ships they had always seen. They had no idea these ships were equipped with their own technology. "Sir, the humans are approaching with their pathetic fleet," reported Vortok's tactical officer. 50 ships against our remaining 700. They must be desperate." But when the battle began, the aliens realized they were facing something completely different. The human ships opened fire with Zephyrian energy weapons that were more powerful than anything the Zephyrians had ever built. The USS Defiance's main cannon tore through alien shields like they were made of paper. Impossible. Vortik screamed. "They're using our own weapons against us." "Not just using them, sir," his weapons officer reported. "They've improved them. Their energy weapons are 30% more powerful than ours." The human ships moved in formations that seemed chaotic to the aliens, but followed combat doctrines that had been developed through centuries of human warfare. They didn't fight like other alien species, who preferred organized, predictable tactics. They fought like humans, adapting and improvising as the battle progressed. Lieutenant Sarah Walsh was piloting the experimental combat suit called Titan. From a hidden base on Mars, the mechanical suit was 12 feet tall and equipped with weapons that combined human engineering with alien technology. "Titan is launching," she reported as her suit rocketed toward the battle. "Time to show these aliens what human infantry can do." The alien commanders watched in confusion as a single human in a mechanical suit flew directly at their ships. It seemed like suicide. Then Sarah's suit opened fire with weapons that shouldn't exist. "Sir, that single human is destroying our fighter." "Squadrons," reported a Korath officer. "Its weapons are cutting through our biofighters like they're nothing." Sarah smiled inside her helmet. The Titan suit was designed to be exactly what aliens wouldn't expect. While other species relied on energy shields and advanced materials, humans had perfected the art of redundancy and adaptation. Her suit could continue fighting even after losing arms or legs. "It's I constantly adapting to new threats." "This is Titan," she reported. "I'm engaging the Vex mothership. Time to see if their reality warping works against good old-fashioned human stubbornness." The aliens tried a different strategy, targeting Earth cities with long-range bombardment. Their massive weapons should have been able to destroy human civilization from space. But when they fired, something unexpected happened. The energy beams struck Earth's atmosphere and bounced back, reflected by atmospheric defense networks that turned the aliens' own weapons against them. The orbital platforms they had thought were communication satellites revealed themselves as particle beam arrays. "Sir, they're using our own weapons against us," reported the Zephyrian weapons officer. "Our bombardment is being reflected back at our ships." Dr. Amy Foster was coordinating the atmospheric defense from her bunker. "Activate the message system," she ordered. "Let's talk to our guests." Her voice was broadcast on all frequencies, reaching every alien ship in the system. "This is Dr. Amy Foster of the Terran Defense Research Division. You studied our official military records and thought you understood us. But humans have been preparing for this war since we first looked up at the stars. You're not fighting our military. You're fighting our entire species." The message continued as human weapons continued to destroy alien ships. "Every human city is a fortress. Every human colony is a weapons platform. Every human in space is a soldier. We've spent 50 years preparing for this moment, and we're just getting started." The alien commanders realized they were facing something unprecedented. This wasn't a military fighting for a government. This was an entire species fighting for survival, and they had been preparing for this fight for decades. All ships prepare for emergency retreat, Vortak ordered. We need to get out of range of their weapons. But before they could retreat, the humans activated their final surprise. Throughout the solar system, hidden collectors began to focus the sun's energy into a massive beam. The solar array was humanity's ultimate weapon, and it was aimed directly at the alien fleets. "Sir, energy readings are off the charts," screamed the alien sensor officers. "They're focusing their star's energy into a weapon." The beam that emerged from the solar array was like a miniature supernova, powerful enough to destroy entire fleets. The aliens watched in terror as their own star became a weapon pointed at them. What kind of species weaponizes their own sun? Hexamore whispered Dot. The answer was simple. The kind of species that had been preparing for galactic war for 50 years. The kind of species that wouldn't surrender, no matter how badly they were outgunned. The kind of species that the galaxy should have left alone. The solar beam fired, and the alien fleets scattered like leaves in a hurricane. The message was clear. Earth was not a planet to be conquered. It was a fortress world defended by a species that had turned warfare into an art form. The aliens were beginning to understand the terrible truth. They hadn't attacked a primitive species. They had attacked humanity. And humanity was ready for war. The final battle began in the space between Mars and Jupiter, where the remaining alien fleets made their last desperate push toward Earth. They had reinforced their surviving ships with emergency armor and weapons, but they were facing an enemy that seemed to grow stronger with each fight. Fleet Commander Vortak had only 200 ships left from his original 400. The Korath had lost even more, with Swarm Lord Hexamore commanding just 150 bioships. The Vex Collective was down to 100 reality warpers under Zillanith's control. "This is our final chance," Vortak said to the other commanders through holographic communication. "We must reach Earth and destroy their planet before they can deploy more weapons." "Agreed," Hexamore replied, his bioship's wounds still healing. "But we must be careful. These humans fight like nothing we've ever seen." The alien fleets moved forward in tight formation, their weapons ready. They had learned to respect human capabilities, but they still believed they could win with concentrated firepower and superior numbers. Captain Steve Murphy watched the approaching enemy from the bridge of the USS Defiance. His fleet of 50 human ships moved to meet them, but their formation looked chaotic and disorganized to alien eyes. "All ships, remember your training," Murphy said into his communicator. "We're not trying to win pretty. We're trying to win." The human ships engaged the aliens, using tactics that had been developed through centuries of warfare on Earth. They didn't fight in neat formations like other species. They fought like humans, sacrificing efficiency for adaptability, using strategies that seemed random but were actually carefully planned. "Sir, the human ships are breaking formation," reported Vortak's tactical officer. "They're scattering in all directions." "Excellent," Vortak replied. "Destroy them one by one." But as the Zephyrian ships moved to attack isolated human vessels, they found themselves walking into traps. The scattered human ships were actually working together, using their apparent weakness to lure aliens into ambushes. "Sir, it's a trap," the tactical officer screamed. "The human ships are coordinating their attacks. We're being surrounded." The USS Defiance unleashed its main weapons, energy cannons that had been reverse-engineered from Zephyrian technology, but improved by human engineering. The beams that emerged were more powerful than anything the aliens had ever seen. "Impossible," Vortak shouted. "Those are our weapons." "How did they make them stronger?" Commander Lisa Hayes smiled from Luna Station as she watched the battle. "Because we're humans," she said to herself. "We don't just copy technology. We make it better." The Korath decided to try their bioweapons, releasing organic viruses designed to corrupt human technology. The biowarfare attack should have disabled the human ships, turning their own systems against them. Instead, the human ships activated something called the Prometheus Protocol. Nanobots emerged from every human vessel, specifically designed to target organic alien technology while leaving human systems completely untouched. "My lord, our bioweapons are being destroyed," reported Haximor's weapons officer. "The human nanobots are eating our organic systems." Haximor watched in horror as his bioships began to die around him. The nanobots were designed with perfect knowledge of Korath biology, attacking exactly the right systems to cause maximum damage. "How did they know?" he whispered. "How did they know how to kill us so precisely?" The answer was simple, though. The aliens were only beginning to understand it. Humans had been studying alien biology for decades, preparing weapons specifically designed to kill each type of alien ship. They hadn't just built defenses. They had built an entire war machine focused on defeating the three most powerful species in the galaxy. The Vex Collective made their final gambit, attempting to use their reality warping technology to phase the entire Earth into another dimension. If they couldn't conquer the planet, they would remove it from normal space entirely. "Begin the dimensional transfer," Zillineth commanded. "We will move their entire world into the void between realities." The Vex ships began to glow with dimensional energy, preparing to shift Earth itself out of existence. It was their most powerful ability, one that no known technology could resist. But as the dimensional energy reached Earth, something stopped it. The planet remained firmly in normal space, protected by technology the Vex had never seen before. "Impossible," Zillineth screamed. "Nothing can resist dimensional transfer." Dr. Amy Foster smiled from her bunker as the dimensional anchor system activated. "Wrong," she said. "Humans can resist anything if they have enough time to prepare." The dimensional anchors had been built into Earth's core itself, locking the planet's reality in place. The effort to breach them destroyed the Vex mothership, scattering Zillineth's consciousness across multiple dimensions. "All Vex ships retreat," came the panicked order from the surviving Vex commanders. "The dimensional transfer has failed." But there was nowhere to retreat. Lieutenant Sarah Walsh, in her Titan combat suit, was cutting through Vex fighters like they were made of paper. Her weapons were designed to hit targets in multiple dimensions simultaneously, making the Vex phase shifting useless. "This is Titan," she reported. "Vex mothership is down. Their fleet is scattering." The remaining alien ships tried to flee, but human weapons continued to hunt them down. The lunar railguns picked off fleeing vessels with pinpoint accuracy. The quantum torpedoes from Mars appeared inside alien hulls without warning. Captain Rodriguez's antimatter cannon carved through ship after ship. Fleet Commander Vortak watched his fleet die around him. His flagship was the last Zephyrian ship, still fighting, its hull cracked and burning. He had started this battle with 400 ships. Now he was alone. "Sir, all other ships are destroyed," his tactical officer reported. "We're the only ones left." Vordak stared at the human ships surrounding him. They could have destroyed his ship easily, but they were waiting. They wanted him to understand something. "Open a channel to the human fleet," he ordered. Captain Murphy's face appeared on the screen. "Commander Vordak, I presume?" "Yes," Vordak replied. "I want to know how you defeated us so completely." Murphy smiled. "You studied our official military records and thought you understood us. But humans have been preparing for this war since we first realized we weren't alone in the galaxy. Every weakness you identified was deliberately planted misinformation. Every primitive human installation was actually a hidden weapons platform. But how did you know we were coming?" Vordak asked. "We didn't know when you would come," Murphy replied. But we knew someone would eventually try to conquer Earth, so we prepared for everyone. Your weapons, your tactics, your technology. We studied it all and built counters for everything. Vortic finally understood. The humans hadn't just been building defenses. They had been building a war machine specifically designed to defeat any alien invasion. They had turned their entire solar system into a trap. "You're not the primitive species we thought you were," he said. "No," Murphy agreed. "We're something much more dangerous. We're humans who have been preparing for galactic war." Vortic's ship was allowed to escape, carrying a message to the rest of the galaxy. The transmission was broadcast from Earth to every known alien civilization. "This is President Richard Carter of the United Earth Government. The alien fleets that came to destroy us have been defeated. 3 of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations attacked our home, and we destroyed them. Let this be a lesson to anyone else who thinks Earth is an easy target." The message continued as images of the battle were broadcast across space. "We are not the weak, primitive species you believed us to be. We are the species that survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. We are the species that turned our entire solar system into a fortress. We are the species that weaponized our own star. If you come in peace, you will be welcomed. If you come in war, you will be destroyed. Earth is not a planet to be conquered. Earth is where conquerors come to die." The surviving alien ships limped back to their home worlds, carrying news of their defeat. The 3 most powerful civilizations in the galaxy had been crushed by a species they had thought was helpless. Admiral Jake Morrison stood in the command center of Luna Station, watching the alien survivors flee. "Status report," he ordered. "All enemy fleets are retreating or destroyed," Commander Hayes reported. "We've lost 12 ships and suffered minimal casualties. The defense network is fully operational and will remain active." Jake nodded. The message was clear to the entire galaxy. Humanity was no longer the young, weak species to be conquered. They were the species that other civilizations should fear. "What are your orders, Admiral?" Hayes asked. Jake smiled. "Begin. Phase 2. It's time to let the galaxy know that Earth is open for business. But this time, we're not asking for protection. We're offering it. The age of human weakness was over. The age of human dominance had begun. And the galaxy would never be the same dot in the depths of space." The message continued to spread. Earth was no longer a target. It was a fortress world, defended by a species that had turned warfare into an art form. The galaxy had learned the most important lesson about humanity. Never underestimate a species that has been preparing for war since before they left their home planet. The humans had won, and they were just getting started.